Some of us are continuing to try to save where we can through the holidays. Just because it's November and December doesn't mean we get a free ticket to ride. If you are one of those people that are trying to save, even during the months where most people are spending, come on in, you're in the right place. I love the holidays. I love decorating for them. I love the Christmas lights. I love the fall colors. But that doesn't mean I have to go hog wild spending during these 2 months. I'm going to use the things that I already have. Most all of them were either given to me or bought on clearance, and I'm going to use those to decorate my home. There are so many ways to save in November and December, and sometimes we don't give ourselves credit, and sometimes we don't think about the things that we're doing to save money. It can be anywhere from using our old decorations in a different way, maybe displaying them just a different way, adding a different scarf to a shirt that we always wear the same scarf, and using some of the food in the cabinets to make some simple meals that are still nourishing, delicious, and we've already paid for. This week, I called and ordered propane before our first freeze because once those temperatures drop, the prices go up. And even though we still had 40% in our tank, I decided to go ahead and get the minimum of 150 gallons to save money. And then if I pay that off within 7 days, I get another discount. So you bet I jumped on that so that we will be covered till probably February with propane. For those of you that wondered, our propane is $1.74 a gallon right now, but if you pay with cash in the next 7 days, it's $1.70 a gallon. So not a huge savings, but it's still a savings, and any savings is important. Today, I'm having biscuits and gravy with some marked down clearance orange juice that I bought, and also a 25-cent gravy packet that I found on clearance. Eating delicious meals can be affordable if we just use some of the things that we have in our back stock and make sure they don't go bad. That's the best use of our money. We hear about saving for a rainy day, but many of us don't look at the holidays as that rainy day, even though that can be the highest financial output we have the entire year. So if you have food saved back and you're planning some big meals, using the things you have so you can afford those big meals can be considered using things for a rainy day. I love saving by using a lot of the things I have on hand in November and December so I can easily afford presents and the big meals that come along with it. One of the biggest sellers during the holiday season is broth, pre-made broth. And in the last video, I showed that I was using turkey bones that I had frozen from last season to make turkey broth for this season. You can buy chicken broth, you can buy beef broth, but it's hard to buy turkey broth. And I use the turkey broth all during the year, and I use it interchangeably as chicken broth. It's hearty, it's rich, and it's so delicious. I also had some basil from my daughter's garden. She was pulling that up before the freeze, and I was able to make a little bit of basil pesto. So my husband always says that making your own broth can actually pay for the bird. And he's so right, because look how much broth I made, and think about how much that would cost in the store. And this broth isn't watered down like the broth that we buy. We're going to start off with 2 eggs, but I have 1 giant egg, so I'm just going to use 1 in this recipe. And to that, I'm going to add a half of a cup of rice. This is jasmine rice. And then I bought this clearanced ground chicken on special for a great markdown. So I'm going to mix this in, and we're going to make some chicken rice meatballs. As you can see, I added some pepper and then I just made sure that it was mixed really well where the meat would stick together and formed meatballs and browned them on all sides. Once they're browned on both sides to your satisfaction, then I'm just going to add a couple of cups of water and let this boil until the rice is done in the meatballs, turning them as needed. Next, I'm going to add a couple of teaspoons of chicken bouillon to the water just to help flavor the meatballs. So, bulking up your recipes doesn't always have to look like you're bulking up your recipes. Sometimes it will look like you are just serving something fancy that you whipped up, and that's why I love this recipe. When you can see that the rice is fluffed, then we're going to start finishing up this recipe. I'm going to sprinkle about 2 tablespoons of gluten-free flour on the meatballs, so when I turn them, it will help thicken this into gravy. Mashed potatoes goes great with this recipe, so I'm going to whip a few of those up too. This recipe works with ground chicken, ground turkey, hamburger, just about anything you want to use. And it is in my second Depression era cookbook listed in the description box and on Amazon. I'm fighting with the sun this morning as it keeps shifting, and I think it is winning. But I'm not going to complain about some free sunshine heat coming through my window. This is the warmest room in the house, so I spend most of my days in here when the sun is out so that I don't have to run any heat. Another way that I saved money this week is I matched up my remittance advices from the insurance company to the bills I received for services. And would you believe I was overbilled again for services from some places where my insurance said I should have paid a lesser amount? So I let them know my insurance says I only owe you this based on their contract with you. And I paid a lot less than what they were billing me for. So often we just pay that bill when it comes in the mail, thinking that it's correct. But I have found many times when we match it to our insurance and what it says we should pay, it is a lot less than what they are billing us for. I'm continuing to go through my home with fresh eyes and sell some things online. Right now is a great time to sell some things because people are looking for great deals in November and December. And a lot of times they're looking for things for their home or for themselves. And it's a good way for you to bring in a little bit of extra money. So I have been focusing on getting things posted and getting some things sold. But saving in your house can be as simple as remembering to put on an apron when you cook. I am terrible about this. I have tons of aprons. In fact, I have one for Easter, for St. Patrick's Day. I have one for Thanksgiving, for Christmas. I have one for several of the holidays to make it more fun, and I still forget to put them on. And if I told you how many clothes I have ruined by forgetting to put on an apron, it's just shameful. I had times that in my life where I only had dress clothes to wear because everything I had casual had stains on it from cooking. And that was just such a waste. So I need to do better there. And it's just a simple thing. And they're hanging right in my vision. And yet I fail to put them on. So I'm hoping by telling you this, it will be a great reminder to me to grab that apron. Even though I think I have gone through most everything in my house, I continue to occasionally find things, and I had my entire side of my bed underneath cleaned out and gone through. I had totes under there of clothes, and I thought I was done. And then my husband got under his side of the bed the other day, and guess what? There was another tote of my clothes under there that I didn't even know was there. And when I opened it up, I'm like, I remember this. I wondered where it went. No, I didn't. I hadn't thought about that shirt in a long time. But once I saw it, it triggered a memory of how much I loved that shirt. So I had several things that I washed up and posted online to sell. I had several things that I donated, and I have a new empty tote that I can use for something else. So looking at our house with fresh eyes can actually bring us in a little bit of extra money and can definitely bring us some extra room during November and December. And I don't know if you are this way or not, but I get excited when I use up the last of something and I know I got every bit of use out of it. The other day, I used up some shower cleaner that has sat around here forever because I don't buy shower cleaner. I don't buy any of those cleaners anymore. There's very few that I buy. And I used it up and I was able to throw the bottle away. And I just felt so good about that. The nozzle part was broken, it wouldn't spray. And I thought, good riddance. I used up every bit of it and I got that out of the house. And that's one less thing that I have to deal with. But using up food can be the same way. So often we will look at things sitting in our pantry or sitting on our shelves and we think, I'm not really hungry for that right now. That doesn't sound good. And it will sit there a long, long time. But living in the country and putting myself on kind of this low spend for the holiday season has encouraged me to go ahead and maybe open that can of something that's sat here for a long time and then use it up and get it out of there and stop looking at it and telling myself every day that it doesn't sound good. I had bought some sweet potato soup in a can that was marked down. It was a really good brand. And so I thought it would be really good because I've used this brand before, and it was not good. I ate one serving of it and I didn't waste it. I froze up the rest of it and I thought, I'm just going to throw it in a soup or a stew this holiday season and I'll mix it in and we'll never know it was there and I'll get it used up and I can stop looking at that can every single day. But I have other things like that and I'm going to make myself use them and get creative and get some of those things out of my eyesight that I just have been looking at forever. They're taking up space. I don't want to use them, and I'm going to make myself use some of those things. It'll get me through another meal or two or three or four. And I'll be glad when I'm done and it is gone, just like that shower spray. So look around your house and say, what do I have that I'm kind of tired of looking at? I open the cabinet and I'm like, it's still there. What am I going to do with it? Figure out a way to do something with it, to get yourself another meal or two down the road and get it out of that pantry. It will save us money in the long run. It will open up space for things we really do want in there, and we will feel good about the money that we saved by using up the last of something we already paid for. We have a lot of new viewers. I would like to welcome you to the channel. I'm glad that you're here. I hope that you're finding value here. And for those of you that have been a listener for a while, thank you so much for being here as I share with you the things that I do to save money and some of the thoughts that I have that go through my head as an early retiree trying to save money and enjoy my life to the fullest. I hope that it is helpful to anyone or someone that listens. Thanks for being here today. I hope you'll join me in the next video, and thank you for being here for this one.